Hello everyone. We are just getting set up here. All right, seems good, seems good. I'm gonna run over in front of the camera. I hope you can all hear me. Hi. All right, welcome back. It is 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And we are back with another Colavita Cooking Live. Welcome. I hope I'm in the frame, and I am. Fantastic. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so happy you can join us here on Colavita Cooking Live. My name is Elena, and I will be your host as usual. If you've been joining us, it will be as usual. If not, nice to meet you. We are live every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time at Colavita USA on Instagram and on our Facebook page. And we cook what you vote for. So we have polls on Instagram and Facebook. So please remember to like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram. And you'll be able to take part in the polls and have a say in what I'm making. We've been doing this for a couple of months now, which seems crazy. I think this is our 10th episode. I'm trying to remember. It might be the 9th. But that is what it is. So I really hope that these have been at least entertaining, hopefully helpful. Hopefully you've made some of these recipes. And over the past 2 weeks, we've decided to switch it up a bit. And do a wild card episode on Thursday, because it seems that the loser of the poll is not a big draw for the Thursday episode. So we've been mixing it up and giving you something fun. So happy Thursday, Mary Eileen, and hi Arlene. It's nice to see you again. Is it hot? It is humid here, like crazy actually today, and it is getting hotter. It's threatening to rain, but I think it's not coming until tomorrow. So today, our wild card recipe is Zeppole. I'm really excited about this. You know how I love to make a big mess and fry things. So today we are frying things, and we're frying Zeppole. Zeppole are like donuts. It's a yeasted dough. And the kind we are making are the simplest kind. It's kind of like a free-form ball of dough that you plop into the oil. It fries up golden brown, and then you let it drain and you dust it with confectioner's sugar. It is a wonderful, wonderful, super fun, delicious dessert. And it's really easy actually. So I'm going to show you how to make the dough. And then we're going to go through frying in olive oil, talk about that too, and dusting them with confectioner's sugar. So I'm really excited. I haven't had a Zeppole in a while. Now there are all different kinds of Zeppole. I know. Hi Trisha, I'm so glad you liked today's recipe. Me too. So some Zeppole, I don't know if you've been to any, Italian food street fairs, but they're cut in the middle and filled with a pastry cream, sometimes with another little dollop of cream on top and a cherry. Those are another great option. I mean, they're very versatile, so you can do pretty much anything. I have filled them with jam, a little like a pastry bag with a metal tip, and then just pump some strawberry jam in there. You could dust them with cocoa powder in addition to confectioner's sugar. Lots of fun things you could do. We're gonna go through this really simple method. I have some olive oil heating up in my Dutch oven here. And this is olive oil that I am frying in. You could fry in Colavita's extra virgin olive oil. This is our new label, by the way. I mentioned this on Tuesday, and I'll get back to it. Or you could fry in Colavita's olive oil, which is not extra virgin. Works really well for frying whatever you like. I love frying in extra virgin olive oil, I have to be honest. You're gonna need about 3 inches deep in this pot. So that's why I might recommend using the regular olive oil for price point, but you could reuse the oil rather. So I've got about 3 inches deep in this Dutch oven, and I want to bring it up to about between 350 and 370 degrees. I think, never had them, only ever had them with powdered sugar. I know, you can do so many things with them. So yes, the Feast of San Gennaro or St. Anthony in New York City, they always have these out. So it'd be nice, you know, we might not be attending those feasts, so we can have our own feast. Let's see how to make these really easy, fun desserts that are traditional. Okay, let's get started. Again, 3 inches in the Dutch oven, getting it to 350, 370 degrees, which is well within the range of, you know, heating extra virgin olive oil. I want to remind you, no risk there. A lot of people think frying needs to be like super fantastically extra hot. It really doesn't. I mean, 350 degrees that's pretty hot. I wouldn't want that in weather. So think of it that way. It's already pretty hot. Okay. So let's get to it. The first thing I'm going to do here is I have 1 cup of warm water. And when I say warm, I'm saying about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing too hot, because that actually kills the yeast if it's too hot, and if it's too cold, then it doesn't really activate as well. So about 80 degrees, and you can use like a little digital thermometer. You know, I've got this one. This is a great one. Instant read thermometer to test your water temperature too, as well as your oil. But you know, you just want it to be warm to the touch, kind of like bath water, I guess, or when the ocean gets nice and warm in the summertime, way in August, at least for us. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I have a teaspoon of active dry yeast and a tablespoon of sugar. Sugar helps yeast activate. Salt actually does the opposite. So to get your yeast to activate, people often add sugar or honey or something like that. I'm going to add a tablespoon of sugar. So 1 teaspoon active dry yeast, get that in there, and a tablespoon of sugar. Now, if I were smart, I would have had a spoon. Oh, it's one of those days. Or a fork. Fork is actually better. And I'm just going to whisk this up. I want to get it all incorporated. Make sure none of it's sticking on the sides. Okay. And I'm going to let that chill for a second because it needs to foam up a bit. Maybe about a minute or 2. It will get kind of puffy and foamy. We want to watch for that to happen. So I'm just going to put this to the side for a second to let that happen. Can you read? Yes, you can. So I would fry again in my extra virgin olive oil. This is a question from Arlene. She says, can you reuse your oil after frying in extra virgin olive oil? So I would fry again in it. I don't know that I would cook with it, just because there's probably stuff in there. I mean, I would strain it, strain out any residue, and then use it again to fry. So I would keep like a separate container. Maybe once it cools down, you can use like a gizmo like this, strain out anything that's remaining in there, and keep it for another use, for another frying use. I would absolutely do that. So it's not wasted. It's not really just one use. You know, you can keep using. Okay, let's see. A note about comments and any newcomers that have just joined us who are making zeppoles, the wonderful little balls of fried dough that are signature of, you know, Italian street food and festivals. And if you have comments, please add them to our Facebook page. The recipe is posted in Facebook in the title, and if you have comments on Instagram, our social media manager is going to fire those over to me on Facebook. So hopefully we will get all your comments. All right. I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour in this bowl. Now, truth be told, I put a little extra flour in this tiny bowl because it's so humid today that it's really making the dough wet. I know because I have already made it, and I was like, ooh, got a little extra flour here because things are soupy. So just keep the weather in mind whenever you're making stuff like this. It's pretty humid today. If you have a super controlled environment in your house, maybe that won't matter, but I don't. So I always have to kind of battle it out with Mother Nature when I'm making bread and things that rise. So 2 cups all-purpose flour. Then I have a teaspoon of salt, which I'm going to add right to my flour. Voila. And then I'm just going to mix that up with my fork or a whisk just to get that salt all distributed in the flour. All right, now let's check on our yeast mixture. Okay, so check this out. It's kind of bubbling on top. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is all bubbly and it's getting kind of foamy. This is perfect. If this doesn't happen to your yeast might not be active anymore. So you might need to start over with some new stuff. But this is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this in to my all-purpose. And I want to add it all. I want to make sure I get all that yeast in there. Okay. And then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of Colavita extra virgin olive oil. I love the flavor that this adds to the dough. I also think it adds a nice pliable texture to the dough, so I'm a really big fan of adding Colavita olive oil right to my doughs, my batters, everything. Then I'm going to take my big spatula here, and I'm just going to start folding this around and mixing it up. Now, you could definitely do this in a stand mixer. I just think that's a lot of effort, honestly. Don't really need it. It's totally fine by hand. It's not, it's not hard. This is not a struggle. I think we're going to be okay with the amount of flour I added, which is very exciting. Okay, let's see. Can you use the 00 flour? You can. So Trisha Colavita asked, can you use 00 flour? Yes. You could use any other kind of flour. You could use bread flour if you wanted. The thing to keep in mind when you change flour, so every flour has a different consistency. And, bread flour will give you a very chewy, strong dough. All-purpose is somewhere in the middle, and type 00 will give you a very fine, fluffy dough, which would be great. Now, you might need to add a few more tablespoons of flour if you're using type 00. It just depends. If it's too wet, you might need to add a few extra tablespoons because it's so fine. Okay, so this is what you get, which is kind of like a messy, shaggy dough. This is perfect. What you need to do now is you need to wrap it with plastic, which I have this giant roll here. I think I've been working through this roll of plastic for, I don't know, years. So we're going to wrap it up, and then we are going to let it rise. I want it really tightly wrapped. Oh, actually, hang on. That's not what I wanted to do. Redo, retake. What I want to do is put it in a different bowl. I've actually oiled this with some Colavita. I'm going to take it out of this bowl and put it in this one. And I'm doing that just because this bowl is a little bit messy now that it's got all the dough in there. And I kind of just want a clean bowl that's been oiled so I won't have any issue getting my dough out. Okay. Now we can proceed with wrapping it up. Okay, so we're going to tightly wrap this, and we're stuck. Okay. Fabulous. Now we are all done. Okay. And then it's going to rise at room temperature for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now, if you want to slow that down, that rising process, you can pop your dough in the fridge and let it rise for 12 to 24 hours. That is an option. So you can make the dough in the evening, wake up, and fry fresh zeppoles for breakfast. What a concept. I love that. So I made my dough earlier today. Here she is. she's very puffy. Ta-da! Has risen quite nicely. Hopefully this will work. It's always fun to find out. Okay, our oil is pretty hot. I can tell because I can smell it. So one of the reasons this is such a great recipe is that we're basically gonna spoon out little spoonfuls of this dough and plop it in the oil and fry. I think I have flour on my face. If I do, let me know in the comments. So there's no forming, there's no rolling, there's no nothing. This is just dough scoop to the Dutch oven to fry. Pretty cool, right? Okay, let's see. Any other comments? Don't think so. All right, so let's get to it. Let's see, we're just gonna go all in here. I'm just gonna do it and we're gonna see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna take this amount of dough here and I'm just gonna plop it in. Ooh, yeah. I'm just gonna do one first. I don't wanna get crazy. Oh my. Yay! So as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but things are bubbling. This is a really nice temperature for the oil. I'm gonna turn up a little bit. You're gonna wanna flip these guys. They're not gonna roll around on their own. So you kinda wanna flip them to get them to a nice golden brown color. Now, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. For this dough, I actually added a couple tablespoons of my sourdough starter. I know, but I've been maintaining it for 5 years, actually, but very, strictly over the past couple months, and I hate to throw it away. So I just used some of the discard and added it in. It's just flour and water after all. So I'm gonna see if that adds any flavor. We're gonna find out. Okay, and when I take this guy out, I'm just gonna plop it in this strainer here to get any excess oil out. And, oh my goodness, look at this guy. We're gonna keep frying and talking about all things olive oil, but that is a nice looking zeppole. Okay, so I put it on a tray with some paper towels so it can just continue to drain any excess oil off. And then I have a tip actually for us here. Plop that in. It might be useful to dunk your spoon in some Colavita olive oil just to get it a little bit greased up so the dough slips nicely off your spoon. I don't know that it's 100% necessary, but it could help. Also your fingers too. Okay, we're gonna put about 4 zeppole in at a time. 3 to 4. I don't want to overcrowd my pan because that's going to bring down the temperature of the oil. Also, things are going to be bumping into each other. I don't want that. I want my little dough balls to have a nice amount of breathing room, and they can fry all nice and free. Turning. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait to eat one of these, I have to tell you. I'm so excited. Great idea to spray this. Yeah, I think that would really work. If I were smart, I would do that, but it's okay. I think, a lot of times when I'm making dough, I will actually rub the Colavita oil into my hands, and it helps it not stick to my hands, because as you can see, that happens. So I think I have an open bottle somewhere that I'd rather do that with. So here we go, we have another one. So I have a story for you guys. Back in the day, I'm going to say the day was high school, I had a summer job making funnel cakes on the Jersey Shore. Now funnel cake is more like pancake batter, it's not yeasted. So a little bit of a simpler process, but you do pour it through a funnel into a big vat of very hot oil. I believe we used peanut at the place we were working. And I would just fry funnel cake after funnel cake. So you see my frying obsession started early. And yeah, I was a very good fryer. I would come home smelling like a donut, covered in powdered sugar, and repeat the process the next day. I'm not going to say that was my favorite job, but it wasn't terrible. All right, let's see if I extra olive oil that I can just pour into my hands. Oh, I have a tiny bit in here. Hooray! Okay, so I'm just going to rub that into my hands and rub it on the spoon. And that will help get things a little bit easier to release from the spoon. All right, now we're going to fish these guys out. These are really gorgeous. So, honestly, we're frying them, I would say, about 2 minutes. It does not take long. Our oil is perfectly warm, hot, so it doesn't take long. I'm going to have this guy go in. Oh, yeah, that works so much better. Definitely put some oil on your spoon and your hands. It's good for your nails, too. Very natural and healthy. Okay. Now, size-wise, honestly, I feel like I'm making mine a little bit big. Maybe you want to make them a little bit smaller. It's up to you. I mean, that part is really up to you. But I feel like this one seems like a nice size to me, this guy. Oopsies, I dug out something else. Okay, like this guy's a nice size, but I don't know. Some of these guys feel a little large. Who cares, right? I mean, it's part of the fun. All right, so what I want to talk, yes, on Long Beach Island. You are right, Mary Eileen. That is where my job was. Crazy times. They look so good. I know. I'm so excited to eat them. So let's talk a little bit about frying in olive oil, and I want to talk about our new label. I don't want to touch the bottle right now because my hands are all funny. But we have, if you were watching on Tuesday, it's very exciting that we have a new label design, and it is hitting stores now. So I want you guys to be aware, so when you see it, you're not alarmed. It's our same wonderful olive oil that you've grown to know and love. It just is a little bit differently dressed. And we're really excited about it, actually. I think that the label looks fantastic. We wanted to do a little bit of a modern update. That was the whole point of it, really. And so, keeping our logo and some of the traditional elements of the bottle design, also the bottle shape remains the same, but just changing some of the things to modernize, clean it up, and make it stand out on the shelf a little bit more. So I'm hoping that, you guys will see it in the wild very soon. If you do, feel free to tag us at Colavita USA and show us some of your new bottle picks. Okay, we've got a few more left. This is a really nice dough. I'm very excited. I'm wondering if I'll be able to taste the sourdough at all. I didn't put a lot in, just a little bit. Okay. Here we go. So let's see. How would you serve these? Well, breakfast. Yes. Who wouldn't want a zeppole for breakfast? I would definitely serve them for breakfast with powdered sugar or, like I said, jam. I'll show you a fun little trick. I'm getting oil everywhere. That I've done for serving. Hang on. So I have these little paper straws. They're really fun. These are just plain white, which isn't very exciting, but I've seen them in all different colors. And I make them into little Zeppole pops. You may have seen cake pops, which have been all the rage for quite some time. But a little Zeppole pop is a fun idea, and I'm trying to find one that's not too hot. Now just take it and stick it right in there, and we have a little Zeppole pop. This is kind of a funny shaped one, but you get the idea. And then, yeah, you can put them in a display. If you're doing like a dessert table or something like that, stand them up, and then people can just grab them. So that's kind of a fun way to serve them that you may not have thought. I mean, obviously you can just stick them on a platter and sprinkle them all with confectioner's sugar, and people can just grab them. But that's kind of a different thing to do that I like. All right, I think we have about, it's going to be a big one, but we've got one more in here. Come on. tiny zeppole, extra little bits. And that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, a perfect dozen. If you made them smaller, there would be more, obviously, but I do kind of like this size. I like to have something substantial to bite into. Let's see. And just keep remembering to flip them around a little bit. They float, which is fun. Here's another one. They kind of look like sea creatures. Okay, so let's see. Yes, the new label. I posted. So right now, let me clear up something about the labels. Only our premium selection extra virgin olive oil has the new label. We're going to be coming out with everything in a new fancy outfit gradually. But for right now, our premium selection, this guy right here, is the one that you'll see now. We'll start to see vinegars hopefully later in the year. So keep your eyes out. It'll be fun. It'll every month might bring something new. Okay. So let's see here. Flipping around. Almost done. Now, frying in olive oil, I do want to talk about this. Like Arlene said, she was concerned if you could reuse, because extra virgin olive oil is an more expensive oil. But frying in it is completely possible. Those things like smoke point, you don't really have to worry about that too much. I'm hovering around 350 degrees here, 370. This is just simmering along in just lovely golden glory right now. It is totally fine. And one of the things you have to remember is that extra virgin olive oil is not a refined oil. So oils that are minimally processed or unrefined are more stable at high heats, like extra virgin olive oil. So it's something to consider. Also, no trans fats, which is pretty amazing, right? So it's really nice to be able to fry in something like that. So when you're considering cost, do consider the health benefits as one of the factors when you're making that decision. Now again, you could definitely drain this. So I'm seeing just like a few pieces of dough on the bottom that I probably don't want in my olive oil later on. So after this cools, I'll probably leave this here in this pot for a couple hours, let it cool completely, because this thing gets pretty hot, and then drain it into a glass container of some kind, something heat-proof. If it's extra virgin olive oil, you definitely drain it into a container that is dark. The reason for that is that light definitely affects the quality of your extra virgin olive oil. That is why we always ship in the dark bottle. All right, this is our tiny little piece here. Can't leave anything to waste. So I guess this made like 12 and an eighth. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. And in terms of, oh boy, in terms of noises, in terms of messes, this is not the worst it's been in here. The rice balls, those were the worst. Okay, my trash I'm gonna put to the side in the back here. Let's see. Savory zeppole. Okay, anchovy. Oh my goodness. Trisha, we might need the recipe from your mom's friend. I would like to make savory zeppole with anchovies. Just a suggestion. Okay, so I have my tray here that they've been draining on. There isn't actually a lot of oil that's coming off on them, but it's nice to let them rest right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get a fancy little platter. This is my cool mint green platter. I'm gonna do a little stacking. Put them around here. So you could have, if you had like one of those flower boxes that, I don't know what florists call them, but they have that gooey, not gooey stuff, it's like a wet brick that you can just like stick the flowers into. Have you ever seen that when you've gotten flowers? You can kind of stand these up and, put them out as little cake pops. All right, we are gonna put them all in here, even the tiny one. Okay, and then, here's here's my platter. I have some confectioner's sugar here. And how I like to do this is I like to use one of these little strainers because it gives you a nice little powdered effect. So I'm gonna just put a little in here. Hang on. We need a new spoon. I'm using all the spoons today. Okay, so a little bit of a spoon in here, and then it's like it's snowing. And you can use as much as you want. I won't tell. Oh my goodness, I wish you could smell the smells. Takes me back to Long Beach Island when I was 17, making the funnel cakes. Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna eat the popped one. What about, oh, cinnamon and sugar. Very good, Camellia, yes. Let's see, would there still be good, oh, we have some good questions here. So yes, cinnamon and sugar would be great. So what I would do is take regular granulated sugar, maybe about a 1/4 cup, and then mix in 1 to 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon, and then do the same kind of dusting. That would be amazing, especially for breakfast. Thank you, Camellia. That is a great suggestion for these. Arlene asks, would there still be good food value in extra virgin olive oil after frying? So I wouldn't dress a salad with this. That's not what I would do. However, I would maybe, I would use it in a braise or a roast. I would use it that way. Anything roasted or braised, you know, because it's going to come up to pretty much the same temperature. So I would do that. I think that's fine. So yes, there is some food value, but I think definitely the taste might be a little bit different. So dressing a salad that you want a more clean, fresh olive oil, I would steer away from that. But for roasts and braises, I think that's totally fine. And of course, you could also fry with it. So yes. Let's see. Oasis, it is. Long Beach Island is an oasis. Let's see, can you stuff them? Yes, Joan. So I definitely would stuff them. So what I would get is a pastry bag or a Ziploc bag. But if you have a metal tip that you normally use to pipe icing, it's gonna make it a little easier, because what you would do is basically, you know, load the piping bag with some jam or Nutella. What? I didn't say that. Something like that, you know. Yeah. And then you would just take the, like this kind of, the tip of the metal tip, insert that into the bag, fill it, and then, you know, give it a little squeeze and then stuff the center. So filled Zeppole 100%. Let's bust one of these open. I want to see the inside, which is nice and fluffy. Look at that. Now you could even add some cinnamon to your batter if you wanted to have some of that cinnamon already in there. Another idea, what about some citrus zest, like lemon zest or orange zest? If you did a little orange zest with a little cocoa powder dusting, I mean, honestly, the options are endless. I love orange and chocolate together. Lemon curd, you could absolutely fill them with lemon curd. It'd be really nice to work a little lemon zest into the dough. So let's see what we got here. I need a little more powdered sugar because, you know, if I'm gonna do it. I feel like a child. It's so good. And you know what? I can definitely taste the sourdough. It's kind of nice. Now, just gave me an idea. If you did mix some sourdough in, you could do a savory version, add a little bit more salt maybe, and then maybe some everything bagel seasoning. How about that? Yeah. We have a lot of options. I am going to continue eating this. So, just to review, Zeppole, fried in olive oil. A really easy recipe that comes together in a flash. Really versatile. I love how, you know, you can have all these add-ins like jam or lemon curd or cinnamon sugar dusting. The anchovies, I gotta try that. These are great for breakfast, they're great for a party, and they really come together easily. So don't worry about frying in olive oil. Save it. Reuse it for things like braises and roasts or frying again. And, you know, you're really good to go. So, again, thank you guys so much for joining me. We have another poll coming up, so if you head to Colavita USA on either Facebook or Instagram, you'll be able to take part in next week's poll, which should be pretty exciting. I'm excited about the recipes that are up. And please head over to colavita.com where you can sign up for our newsletter so you can get all of this straight to your inbox, plus any other fun news. We have a blog that Camelia's been writing, and it's really got it's got a great, words are hard. It has a ton of information. So some of our popular posts, like the homemade manigot, the homemade ravioli, we have extensive photos, you know, and a lot of information there. So anything I've covered here is probably on the blog. And please check it out. And you can always watch any of these again on Facebook, on Instagram, in the IGTV section, or on YouTube. All right, I hope you guys make some zeppoles. And ciao, Arlene, and ciao, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. I hope it's a beautiful weekend wherever you are. Ciao for now.